What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Big Fight Field channel, where we speak the truth, we're honest, and we give out takes on the Miami Dolphins. I'm sorry about the table shaking. It is Saturday, December 9th, 2022. Here to talk a little bit Miami Dolphins Extra. Did our preview yesterday for the Dolphins against the Tennessee Titans, and there's a couple things I wanted to touch up on that I didn't want to talk about yesterday, and given the fact that the team is playing on Monday night, I figured I'd take today, do a little quick video for you guys. Just listened to Mike McDaniel in his press conference today. We'll talk about the injuries for a little bit. To start, kind of the big news is going to be what came out from that press conference. Jerome Baker is heading to IR, unfortunately, after a sprained MCL. That is really bad for the linebacking depth of this Miami Dolphins team. I don't know if Duke Riley is your long-term answer for the remainder of the season. They did just sign Calvin Munson, who's on the Miami Dolphins from 2019 to 2021. Onto the practice squad, so the Dolphins are maybe going to have to elevate another linebacker, but the linebacking depth for the Miami Dolphins right now is not really good. And I'm just going to get into it already. If you haven't already, be sure to go ahead and check out the preview of the Miami Dolphins against the Tennessee Titans. I'm going to put it at the end of the video. It'll show up in the last 20 seconds of the video. All you have to do is click on it, and it'll take you to the video. But of course, don't do that until you watch the remainder of this video. So we're going to get into the big news. I didn't plan on this being the title of the video, but it's going to. The linebacker depth for the Miami Dolphins is very thin right now, right? You have Andrew Van Ginkel, who can play on linebacker, but he's more lining up with the front four on defense. Same with Emmanuel Ogbah. Now you have Jerome Baker out. You're looking at 3 linebackers, probably 4, because I would expect that they're going to bring up Calvin Munson from the practice squad. But with Jerome Baker going on IR, you're looking at David Long Jr., Duke Riley, and Channing Tindall as your starting linebackers for the Miami Dolphins. That's not good. That is not good at all. And one of the Shaq Leonard, who was released from the Indianapolis Colts, recently signed with the Philadelphia Eagles. So the Dolphins can't go out and they get him. And there's really no good linebackers out in free agency for Dolphins to go and sign right now. This is what they're stuck with. And again, seems like Dallas and Baltimore, the earliest Baker can come back is the finale against the Buffalo Bills. And even then, Mike McDaniel promised that we don't know if we're going to take Baker off of IR in case something happens to someone else. And let's knock on wood and hope it doesn't happen, all right? Let's knock on wood. But say someone like Armstead has to go on IR, you have one spot left to take someone off IR. They used their spot on Chris Brooks, which I don't know if I would have. The Dolphins have 3 running backs already. I don't know if I would have used their spot on a undrafted running back. But if you have to choose between Teron Armstead and Jerome Baker to come off IR, Teron Armstead means more to this team. You're obviously going to take Teron Armstead off of IR over Jerome Baker. So I don't know. Hopefully there's no other big injuries that happen to this team, because the Jets game, Jalen Phillips goes down. The Washington game, Jerome Baker goes down and he's on IR. And Jerome Baker's the guy communicating, calling out the plays. Now I think that's going to be Duke Riley. I think that's going to be Duke Riley's role now. And he's going to have to be calling out the plays. So this defense, which has been unbelievable since Jalen Ramsey has been back, they lost two big players back-to-back weeks, and hopefully this doesn't start a downward spiral for what has been a phenomenal defense ever since the return of Jalen Ramsey in Week 8. So Jerome Baker is going on to IR, and the earliest he can come back is Week 18 against the Buffalo Bills. And even then, if that game doesn't mean anything, Jerome Baker might not be back until the playoffs. So, in other news from the Mike McDaniel press conference, Javon Holland will practice today, and they will see how he feels after today and tomorrow. So he's probably going to be going into the game questionable on Monday night. McDaniel, about Teron Armstead, said that Teron Armstead had no setbacks. He will be practicing today. He's going to be questionable, but him saying there's no setbacks for Teron Armstead makes me think that Teron Armstead is going to be playing on Monday night against the Tennessee Titans. And what my response is, do we really need to put Teron Armstead out on the field against the Tennessee Titans to chance yet another injury to him? I don't think the Dolphins need Armstead to beat the Titans, but the coach is going to do whatever the coach wants. So if he says Teron Armstead has no setbacks, then he's probably going to be playing. And also, Rob Hunt has been ruled out for Monday night's game against the Tennessee Titans. So some of the stuff that I did want to talk about today was the Austin Jackson contract signing. I wanted to talk about the Dolphins being the number 1 seed, which is going to be the last thing I talk about. But what I want to talk about right now, and this is going to be a very short video, what I want to get into is Ryan Fitzpatrick and what he said on Thursday Night Football about Brian Flores. And then this is kind of going to transition into this will transition into the Austin Jackson talk. So I'm trying to check Twitter, see if anything else happens. No, I think that's it. So yeah, Jerome Baker is going on IR today, and that sucks. But Ryan Fitzpatrick, let's get into him real quick. They did a segment on Mac Jones, and Mac Jones was a first-round pick out of Alabama, obviously drafted by the New England Patriots. We all make fun of Mac Jones, McCorkle Jones, all that stuff. He's a bad quarterback on the Patriots, and they did a segment whether Mac Jones can be fixed. He said, absolutely Mac Jones can be fixed somewhere else. He's broken mentally, emotionally, his confidence is gone, and some other players can relate to that too. Jared Goff had his confidence broken until the Rams fired Jeff Fisher. They brought in Sean McVay, and Sean McVay reamped Jared Goff. Then he goes in and he absolutely buries Brian Flores by saying, the same thing happened with Tua Tagovailoa in Miami. I was there to experience it with him. The way Flores treated him, the way Flores coached him, Tua was broken mentally and emotionally, and then Mike McDaniel comes in and he is a MVP candidate. I'm actually going to try to get it up on my phone. Let's go to Twitter. I'm going to try to play the clip if I can find it. Yeah, I have a quote. I'm not going to play the clip, but I have the quote exactly. Flores, same New England way. He was broken by Brian Flores, the way he treated Tua and the way he coached Tua. Mike McDaniel then comes in, and he's now an MVP candidate. So that tells you about how terrible of a coach Brian Flores is. And Brian Flores there's rumors that Brian Flores could be in the market for a head coaching job going into next year. And what I would say is any team that is thinking about Brian Flores being their next head coach, they are asking for bad things to happen. They're asking for a divide in the locker room, because that's exactly what this was when Brian Flores was on the team. We didn't know about this until Flores was fired from the Miami Dolphins. There was a divide in the Miami Dolphins locker room. Some guys were Team Flores. Obviously, the defensive players, Flores had that defense top 10 for the years that he was there, specifically 2020 and 2021. And then some of the guys were Team Tua, and they didn't want Flores to be the head coach because he was creating a divide in the locker room, and Flores wasn't the quarterback. Tua wasn't the quarterback Flores chose, and Flores did everything in his power to get Tua Tagovailoa out of Miami. If it was up to Flores, Tua would not be the quarterback on the Miami Dolphins. He tried to get Deshaun Watson. He tried to get Tom Brady. He started Jacoby Brissett in a couple games. And then Thursday Night Football came against the Baltimore Ravens. And Jacoby Brissett was playing so bad in that game that Tua had to come in and replace him. And Flores made the move, and Tua came in and played the rest of the game against the Baltimore Ravens. And then the organization had to make a decision between Flores and Tua, and they obviously went with Tua because they fired Brian Flores once the Dolphins finished 9-8 in 2021. And I have this to say about Flores. Not only did he break Tua's confidence, but he broke Austin Jackson's confidence, and he broke so much other people's confidence as well. The difference between McDaniel and Flores is Flores wanted too much power in the organization as the head coach. What Mike McDaniel did this offseason in the organization, they hired Vic Fangio as the defensive coordinator. Now, Mike, he openly admits, I call offense. I'm hands-on on the offensive playbook, the players we have, the routes. Mike McDaniel is hands-on with the Miami Dolphins offense. And he goes out and he gets Vic Fangio as the defensive coordinator, and he says the defense is yours. Whatever players you want, let us know. Whatever scheme you want to run, scheme it. Whatever anything Vic Fangio wanted, he gets as the defensive coordinator. And it's McDaniel runs the offense and Vic Fangio runs the defense, and McDaniel doesn't pull power away from Vic Fangio because he's the head coach. That's the difference between Brian Flores and Mike McDaniel. And I'll tell you what, if the organization back in 2021, at the end of that season, if the organization went with Brian Flores over Tua Tagovailoa and they actually pursued Deshaun Watson, the Dolphins would still be a mediocre team. They would not have Tyreek Hill. They would not have Teron Armstead. They would not have Jalen Ramsey. I doubt it. But they would not have these guys. They would not have Raheem Mostert. They would not have Devon Achane. If Mike McDaniel and Tua Tagovailoa were not on this team, the Dolphins would not have Tyreek Hill. Yeah, the Dolphins might be in a wild card race, but they will not be where they are right now. And that's a fact, whether you like it or not. Now, let's talk about Austin Jackson. Excuse me if my mini rant right there. I kind of went off there. Thursday, the Miami Dolphins re-signed Austin Jackson. Austin Jackson was a pending free agent going into this season. The Dolphins did not pick up his fifth-year option, and his fifth-year option was worth over $14 million. Now, Jackson's first 3 seasons with the Dolphins were a disaster. It was an absolute train wreck. You look at 2020, he was bad. You look at 2021, he was worse. And technically, in 2022, he didn't even play. He got hurt week 1 against the New England Patriots, and he didn't return until week 12 against the Houston Texans, and he got injured, and he was out for the season. And then this season, we go into expectations. Yes, Austin Jackson's the starting right tackle, but don't be surprised if his play sucks that he becomes a backup and, I don't know, Kendall Lamb starts over him. Austin Jackson has proved the doubters wrong, and he proved the doubters wrong, and he proved me wrong too, because I was one of those doubters. And what makes this so awesome is how Tua Tagovailoa spoke about Austin Jackson in his press conference on Thursday. Once Jackson re-signed, Jackson was told that he was going to be signing early Thursday morning. And Tua, he was getting a little bit choked up about Austin Jackson. I'm going to play a little bit of these clips. They're about 50 seconds each. I'm going to play 2 of them. And, just go ahead and take a listen. Let's turn the volume all the way up. And here we go. I'm going to put it as close to the computer as possible.
That was awesome. That was awesome. Can we all give him a round of applause, please? Seriously, can we all give him a round of applause? I mean, I'm not saying you guys, but it could be you guys. The media, everyone wants to say whatever they want to say about Austin Jackson, but it's almost like a heroic story or something for how he's turned his career around within, last year up to this year, and all the things that's been said about him. I'm very proud of him. I know he's very happy, but out there at practice, you wouldn't see it because of the person that he is. I'm sure his family's very happy for him, but I mean, this dude just loves ball. He just wants to do anything and everything that he can do to help the team, and we're all happy for him. So that was awesome.
That's the first clip. And then the second clip is him talking about Tua and Austin Jackson sitting in the team meetings, probably back years ago, and last year with Mike McDaniel.
Past years, yeah, it's awesome. It's truly remarkable to sit in those meetings, have things told about you that aren't true, but they get planted in your head, and you have the media on you as well, and then you have someone like Mike and his coaching staff come in and basically just build you back up. And it's not just Austin, it's really everyone that's been here for some time, and kind of give you that renewed confidence in yourself to just go out there and be yourself and play the way you've played. That's why the organization chose you. You see the fruits of his labor. So I'm very happy for him. And, I think we'll probably have a couple of other guys as well, hopefully within the near future. So I'm excited about that.
Now, I'm not going to get into those couple guys because I'm living in the moment right now. We're in the middle of a 9-3 run. There's 5 games left in the regular season. We talk about all those free agents in the offseason, unless the Dolphins go ahead and they sign someone else during the season. Christian Wilkins, Connor Williams, whoever it is. But again, that just goes to show you how cancerous Brian Flores' staff was. And the non-confidence they put into Austin Jackson's head with Tua that everything that he said, that there's things said about you that aren't true, and he was a good prospect coming out of the 2020 draft. The Dolphins might have reached for him, but he's proved the doubters wrong, and I'm absolutely thrilled and happy that Austin Jackson is going to be the starting right tackle for the Miami Dolphins for the next 3 seasons. And finally, I want to get into this, and then I'm going to wrap it up. I got to pack. I leave for Miami tomorrow morning. But I want to get into this for about 5 minutes or so. The Miami Dolphins going into Week 14. They are the number 1 seed in the AFC. It goes Miami, Baltimore, Kansas City, Jacksonville. When Jacksonville lost to the Cincinnati Bengals on Monday night, it was Miami Dolphin fans throwing celebrations, doing all this trash talk, all that stuff, which is cool. But the question I ask you is why? There's 5 weeks left in this season. What are you celebrating about? Why are you celebrating that we're the 1 seed, but what Mike McDaniel said, call me when it's a 13-game season? And I absolutely agree with him. And right now, the Miami Dolphins have higher priorities than the number 1 seed. For right now. What you should be worried about is winning the division. Because to be officially in the conversation for the number 1 seed, you have to win the division. And the Dolphins, what is so big about this, is the Dolphins have a chance to win the division next week. So when people on Twitter say, who should we be rooting for between the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs? Oh, I might be rooting for Buffalo because then the Dolphins have a 2-game lead on the Kansas City Chiefs. What? Why would you not want to see the Buffalo Bills lose another game? Because if they lose, then the Dolphins go out. They handle business on Monday night. They got a 4-game lead over the Buffalo Bills, folks. And do you know what the magic number is? 1. The Dolphins have to beat the New York Jets next week by whoever the Jets are going to trot out at quarterback. Whether it's Zach Wilson, whether it's Trevor Siemian, whether it's Aaron Rodgers on a torn Achilles. The Dolphins have to beat the New York Jets next week if the Bills lose to the Chiefs, and then they clinch the division. Why would you cheer for the Buffalo Bills to beat the Chiefs just to get a 2-game lead over the Chiefs? I would rather have a 4-game lead over the Buffalo Bills than a 2-game lead over a team that we already beat. Because I'm going to tell you something, folks. Our schedule's hard at the end of the season. Yes, we have the Titans and the Jets coming up, both at home. But to end this season, it's a gauntlet. The Dallas Cowboys, they're 10-3, or 9-3, I'm sorry. The Baltimore Ravens, they're 9-3. And the Buffalo Bills, we all hate them, but they're still a very good team. So I don't understand why Dolphin fans are getting all cocky. I hate it. Peter Schrager said it best on Good Morning Football. Dolphin fans have not experienced this amount of excitement in years. And yeah, I absolutely agree with that. And we should celebrate. And we should soak in the moment. Because this is rare. This is rare for Dolphin fans. But at the same time, we're getting too cocky. And we're getting too excited. So, Dolphin fans, tone it down a little bit. think of the short-term goals. The number one seed is a long-term goal. Once we win the division, if we win the division, then I'll talk about the number one seed. Because that might be what the game against Baltimore is all about. But for now, we have a division to win. It's been 15 years. I wasn't even watching football when I was 6 years old. I started cheering for the Dolphins when I was about 7. I've been a Miami Dolphins fan for 15 years. I've never seen my team win a division before. Never in my life have I seen the Miami Dolphins win the division. And seeing that happen next Sunday would be very cool. It would be one of the coolest moments as a Dolphins fan that I've remembered. But to do that, the Dolphins have to beat the Tennessee Titans on Monday night. So I'm getting out of here. I went way longer than I wanted to today, but that's okay, I guess. I'm going to get out of here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the Big Fight Field channel. You are not gonna want to miss the vlog on Monday night. I don't know when I'm going to post it. It might be when I get back from the hotel at the game. It might be when I'm sitting at the airport on Tuesday. I don't know. But it will be out either Monday or Tuesday. Be sure to turn on the bell for notifications because you're not going to want to miss this vlog, baby. So subscribe, comment down below your thoughts on everything I just talked about. Hit the like button if you like what you heard from me. Follow me on Twitter at Colin_Joseph and TikTok as well with all the content that I'm going to be posting this weekend. And I'll see you in Miami. Have a good one. Stay safe. And as always, fins up. And the next time you'll see a video, I'll be in Miami. Have a good one. I'll see you in the next video.